Hi folks, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited to be here with you today because I have a message for you. And this channel is actually for those that are trying to overcome drug addiction or has already been successful to some degree for many years on overcoming, and you're just adding to your level of development. Or it's for those that are helping someone who is struggling with drug addiction and how to support them and stay faithful to the cause. I'm excited about today and what I'm going to share with you because it's going to find out if your friends are really your friends. I'll call it the experimental triangle, where you can discover, is your friends in it for you or are they in it for the drug? And there is a certain common denominator when it comes to drug use or alcohol use. Reminds me of a story when I was in high school and I smoked weed all the time. My name is Ron Smith, of course. They called me Spliff because every time they see me, I had a Jamaican roll joint in my mouth and I always sold weed. But once I made a decision to stop smoking weed, my friends stopped coming around. They stopped calling and asking me to do things. I became Ron with the appointment. So every time they would call me, of course, I was in early stages of recovery, and I would simply tell them, no, I don't want to go, I have an appointment. But come to find out, it was a revelation that I discovered. And it was the common denominator in our life was the weed. Once the weed was gone, my friends were gone. And it was a wake-up call for me. It was rather disheartening, to be honest, because I really thought they were my friends and that we could do things together outside of having to smoke weed. But it wasn't. So is drugs or alcohol a common denominator with you and your friends? Well, here's what I want to propose to you and give you a skill to determine whether or not your friends are faithful to you or are your friends faithful to the common denominator. So sometimes you meet a friend and they weren't using drugs, but then you discover that they do use drugs, and then you start using drugs with them. But if you were to stop using drugs, the drug you find is the common denominator. Or you use drugs, your friends use drugs, and the way you guys came together was through that common denominator, which is the drug. But sometimes because we're involved in an addiction, we are not able to see that the only common denominator is the drug or alcohol. Well, here's the experiment and here's the tool that I want to give you and the skill that you'll need to develop to move forward in your recovery. So your friend asks you out to go to the bar, or your friend asks you to use some drugs, and you just simply say, no, I'm trying to change my life. And at that moment, they'll either reveal to you that they're your friends or not by saying, okay, no problem, I'll support you, or I'll get back to you. Reminds me of a story. I had a client in my classroom, and he stated that after we shared about the common denominator, and I drew it on the board as a triangle, and I'm gonna show you in a minute, but he said that his buddy had just called him the night prior to class. And he's always done this before. His friend will call him and ask for weed or to smoke, or if he had any to sell. He said, you don't have no weed? He said, no. Do you have any to sell? And he said, no, I don't think so. And he said, you either have some or you don't. Do you have it to sell or not? And he said, no. He said, all right, well, I'll talk to you later. Boom. And he just hung up on him. Well, normally, when he was at a certain level of development, he didn't think twice about that being an issue. But because he was coming to my classroom and found out that this experimental triangle and this common denominator revealed itself that the friend really wasn't committed or faithful to their friendship, he was more committed and faithful to the common denominator, which was the weed. And once the weed was gone, friendship gone. Oh, look at that. We call it triangulation. Me, friend, drug. As long as those three right there is in, it's all good. But soon as this gets out the way, or drug, drinking, whatever you want to put right there, then it's awkward. This is awkward going this way. Because it had to go this way. Why? Why did it have to go that way? And then when you think about it, it never was this way. We met with this way.
Yeah. You couldn't.
And if I cut out the drug, the truth has now been revealed. And that's what I call the hammer. This is the hammer right here. You see? The cold, hard truth. And it's not against someone, to my friend, because sometimes people don't want to go there because they're thinking about their friend. They're so faithful and that's my friend, boom. But it had nothing to do with your friend. It has to do with the triangulation that was developed. And how did that happen? There it was. Eliminate that, and that's when you'll feel it. It's gonna be awkward. You're feeling that now. It's feeling awkward. We go to the bars and stuff like that. It's like it's awkward. It's not the same. But cold hard truth right there. One thing you got out of this session that you're able to implement in your life.
Oh man, people aren't faithful to you. They're faithful to the common denominator.
I learned that one too.
That's him.
Yeah.
That's God. He was there out the minimum today. I was tripping. You was talking, and I was just thinking about that in my head, man. I was like, man, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
So, and then the little story of the dude calling the other day, just for the weed. Like, how you doing, bro? None of that. What's up, bro? You got some weed? No. You stop something? Yeah, kind of. Is it either that or you don't got nothing? Both. All right. How about your cousin? That's it. The whole
Hung up.
conversation.
Not bye. Talk to you later.
11:30 at night.
11:30.
Friday night, though. I get it. Friday night. But still. Man, if you don't got what they want, man, what are you good for?
Wow.
Else.
Wow.
You're not doing what we're doing. You the one who decided to stop that. You the one who decided to get clean. That's crazy.
That's crazy. That was a heavy revelation. They're not faithful to you, they're faithful to the common denominator. Who's faithful to the common denominator? With you. You better wake up to that one, because that's crazy. Wow. What a wake-up call. Addiction doesn't care about you. Treatment is more faithful than your so-called faithful friends. Treatment is always available. Counselors are always available. NA meetings, AA meetings, Alcoholics Anonymous, they're always available. They don't fake on you or pretend to be something they're not. Another story, a client was meeting someone at a bar. He said, the guy calls him, his friend called him and said, meet me at the bar. And he said, well, I really don't want to drink tonight, but I'll meet you there to watch the football game. So he goes to the bar to meet his friend who invited him, and he sits in the parking lot waiting for the friend. The friend never called, never showed up. So he went in the bar, watched the football game, bought him some chicken wings, but he didn't drink that night. But he never thought twice about it until we were in class and we were discussing about the common denominator and the faithfulness of our friends. Are they really faithful to you, or are they faithful to the common denominator? There's also the prodigal son in the Bible that tells the same thing about this common denominator. When the prodigal son got his inheritance, the dad gives him his money and he goes and squanders it, but it says that he was in riotous living. That means he was at the bar partying and having a good old time, spending his money at the bar. Just imagine him there, and after all the money was gone, it says, no one gave him anything. They didn't give him the time of day. To the point where he had to get a job working and feeding the pigs. Didn't have enough money to even eat, so he ate from the pig's pen. And that, my friend, is a wake-up call. He woke up and said, you know what? The only common denominator he has was his money. Once the money was gone, all his friends were gone. And he was left with nothing. It also even says that. No one gave him anything. Now, in your case, think about your life. What is it that's your common denominator? What is it that you and your buddies do? Do you go to the bar all the time? And if you stop, will they still be your friends? Do you guys smoke weed all the time? And if you stop, will they still be your friends? Do you guys drink alcohol at football games or at your house or at their house? If you stop, will they still invite you to the home? Or will they even come to your home? That's something to experiment with. I'm not saying it's like that with all your friends, but you can definitely do this experiment to determine if they're in it for you. Are they faithful to our friendship, or are they faithful to the common denominator? With that said, I want you to like this page. I want you to share this page. I want you to subscribe to this page and tell people about this page, because it's going to give you strategies, techniques, and skills on how to stay drug-free for life. And once you put this skill in operation of finding out if your drugs or alcohol is the common denominator in your friendship, that's going to help you or propel you further in your recovery. It's going to give you the answers you need and the power and strength you need to employ in order to step away from those associations, because they're not your friends, they're just associations, and only in it for the weed, they're only in it for the alcohol, they're only in it for the opiates, they're only in it for whatever that drug of choice is. And you, my friend, are going to wake up, just like the prodigal son did, to discover that they're not in it for you, but they're in it for the common denominator. Get your life together and then keep it together all the days of your life, and we'll see you on the next video.